Hey guys, today I have a stack of books that mostly I have tried to read before. They've been on TBRs, I've started them, and I haven't finished them for whatever reason, and I'm going to tell you why I've stopped them. And then I've got a couple extra books that were on my read or read shelf that I created at the beginning of the year. I have a whole video that I will leave linked about that. But pretty much it's like I need to decide, am I going to try these books again or am I not? So you guys are going to help me with that. I'm going to create a poll that I will leave linked below, and you guys can vote for, I think just one book, and I will try that one again. But before you vote, I would love it if you would like listen to why I've stopped the books, and then we'll go from there. So the first three are actually ones I haven't started. So I've got Ted Decker's Adam. This one is on my read or read project where I picked out a bunch of books that kind of just don't appeal to me but I have on my shelves that I either need to read this year or get rid of. And so Ted Decker, I picked this one up at a thrift store because I used to like Ted Decker, but I'm realizing I'm quite over him. So this is an option. I honestly don't know what this is. 16 young women are dead, each injected with a mysterious illness on the night of a new moon and left in various underground basements or caverns. The murderer leaves no clues except for one scrawled in red, trademark Eve. Okay, actually that sounds a little more interesting than maybe some of his, but I feel like his books are usually like so out there I don't really understand them, so there's that one. And then there's a Snow Child. I think this is magic realism, if I remember correctly. It's a couple that lives in Alaska that can't have kids, but then there's like some kind of kid comes out of the woods. I don't know. Yeah, so there's that. I don't really even know more than that. Then there's the Poisonwood Bible. This one is, I think, set in Africa. I think it's a family of missionaries that go to Congo in 1959. And I've actually heard really good things, but I just seem to have kind of poor luck with this kind of book. I don't even know what like genre it would be considered. On the back it just says fiction, which is actually a pet peeve of mine because like fiction is way too broad. I've heard good things. I just kind of feel like I won't like the writing style, so that's why I haven't started that one. And then this one's been on my TBR before, but I've actually never started it, and that's Educated. So this is, I think, this is the only nonfiction on my stack. I thought I would like this based on kind of, not maybe like it, but like enjoy the reading process. So it's I think it's a woman who grew up like really remote in the mountains. Her family was very off the grid, and oh yeah, so her father was a Mormon. I couldn't remember extremist beliefs, and then it's kind of like some of her story. I'm not really sure. It sounds interesting in theory, especially because I like learning about like different cults and things like that, and that kind of feels like that kind of book. But I don't know. So that's another option. Now the rest of them here I have all started at one point or another and pretty much stopped each of them very early on. If I've read far enough and then I quit a book, usually there's like a good reason for it. These ones, it's all pretty much because it wasn't like capturing my attention. So yeah, so this first one is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. This was on my TBR a few months ago, beginning of the year maybe, and okay, apparently I got to page 10. So it actually sounds, I'm kind of like 50-50 with Bachman. I like some of his books, I don't like others. This is supposed to be a bank robber who takes a group of hostages, and then I don't really know. So far they're very short chapters, but they're like, we're switching back and forth between characters a lot, it seems like, from what I remember, and that's generally not something I really like. So for that reason, also because at this point I felt like my TBR was just too overwhelming and this book was like the least interesting to me on the list, so that's why I stopped this one. Yeah, like barely even started it. The next one is one I thought I would actually really like. It's Hum If You Don't Know the Words. This was on my TBR card for a long time and I wanted to read it, but I was kind of scared because I kind of thought I wouldn't like it, but kind of thought like I would. So this is I think it's kind of like historical fiction. It's set in South Africa, which is the big draw for me because my son is from South Africa. So historical fiction, often you can learn different things, and I want to learn more about his country. And I believe this was like, I don't know if it was dual timeline, it was at least like dual perspective. So we've got June 1976 and yeah, so I think these are maybe all the same time, but they're following a couple different people in South Africa. And I don't remember exactly why I quit it. It just like kind of wasn't going anywhere yet. And once again, I didn't get very far. I'm on page 33, like not very far at all. It's less than 5%, maybe 5% through. And I know some people really like this book, so I kind of want to give that one a try, but it was boring. The next one I tried to do as a I can't talk today. A buddy read, not a butter read, with Amanda from the Curly Reader a couple months ago, and that is Spare and Found Parts. This is kind of like steampunk-ish, I don't remember even. It's about a girl who, I don't know, they live in a world, I guess it's kind of like after this time because something has happened, and she has a like false heart, it ticks, and she is eventually going to build herself a friend, I think, maybe. Once again, I didn't get very far. I think maybe I read chapter 5, which they were short chapters, so okay, I think I read chapter 6, so I'm about 55 pages in. Once again, not very far. And I know Amanda was not liking this book more than I wasn't. Like, it wasn't terrible, but it also wasn't like, I wasn't quickly turning the pages, super excited about it or anything. So there's that one. And then this one I think I got farther in according to this doggy ear. Did I do this? This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. So this is supposed to be young adult fantasy, I think. I don't know enough about it. The world is separated into 2 different sides, and there's really like a main female character and a main male character, and I don't remember, one of them goes over to the other side secretively and they're like spying on people or something, but there's all these things that I don't understand yet. Is this really where I was? Okay, well then I was probably about according to my doggy ear here, probably on page 93, which is farther than some, and I still can't actually tell you what this is about. So that's often a sign of like, well, I feel like sometimes, you know, a book can really come together in the end, but so far this wasn't making much sense. Okay, 2 more left, and these 2 I feel like I'm hoping you guys don't pick these ones, but we'll see. So one of them is Once Upon a River. I feel like I've heard very polarizing things about this book. Some people really love it, some people really don't. I got up to page 57, so I think this is magic realism, which really just might not be a genre for me. This girl gets pulled out of the water and no one knows who she is. I think she's like fairly young, like 7-ish if I remember correctly. And so far pretty much all that happened is they're like in a pub or something trying to revive her, and I don't really know. I don't remember what else. I've heard a lot of people like The 13th Tale, but I haven't read anything else by her, and so yeah, don't know what else to say there. And then the last one. This is one that I don't know if I've ever seen anyone actually read. So I started this one back in November, because back then I was writing my thoughts on a sticky note on the back of the book. So I started November 10th, and then I wrote absolutely nothing about it. So I got to page 118. I was much more committed back then with my TBR. And I don't really know what happened. This was kind of supposed to be, it's like set in Scotland, I think. Is it Scotland? But it's very fantasy-esque as well. I don't know what the actual genre is considered. It says historical fiction. Oh, and fantasy fiction. Yeah, that makes more sense. So there's a map here. So there's different kingdoms, and we've got these characters that live in a fairly high up house. They're like the kids of this important family. But then there's also something going on with like the different medicines, and I don't really even know. Yeah, so that's my stack. I'm going to leave a link below where you can go and vote, and I think whenever it is that I film my August TBR, then I will close the voting. So you have until then, which should probably be at least a week, to go and tell me which one I should read. if I have to like sway your votes at all. Honestly, I was like, when I was pulling them out, I was like, I don't want to read any of these. There's kind of a reason I like quit them all. But the ones that stick out to me the most are probably this one. I haven't actually started it, I don't think, just because I'm curious. And then also Adam kind of has me curious based on the title. But yeah, vote how you want to vote. Don't let me sway you too much, maybe. And then for August, when I do my TBR, I'm going to be picking a couple books from the prompts on Hey Reader again. I haven't done that since April for May's TBR, and I'm kind of missing that, which is good. That's what I was wanting. But I'm only going to pick out a few books, so you can kind of like watch for that to come soon. I think my next video though will be an update of this TBR cart. I'm tempted to take like everything off and start afresh, so that will be coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for however you vote. Hopefully you vote well.